In college, I did a lot of solo car camping from the back of my truck I owned at the time. I went to a remote public area in the Ozarks and planned to stay overnight. After setting up all my bedding and having dinner and a sugary dessert, I decided to hunker down for the night. Well, about 45 minutes after turning off the light, I start hearing leaves crunching in the woods about 30 YDs away. Not really concerned, I write it off as an opossum, deer, coyote, etc., just moving through the area. However, my imagination started going wild as it always does, and I start thinking of the worst situations. More leaves crunching, but closer. Definitely in the campsite. I usually carry a can of bear spray, but being a dumb kid, I didn't think about the fact that I was in an enclosed space until I was ready to use it. More crunching leaves, but further away. I start to relax a little as eventually they disappear. Nerves completely racked, I try to go to sleep. I think at some point I get into a really light sleep and wake up about 2-3 hours later. It's about 2 in the morning and there is very obviously something walking between me and the campfire. At this point, a deep, loud, and incredibly scary voice from inside my truck camper asks, "Do you believe in God?" I fucking start screaming and turn on headlamps, thrashing, and get ready to defend for my life. The footsteps run away and disappear into the woods as I'm in full panic mode. I have to tell myself I hallucinated the whole thing because of the sugary dessert I ate before bed. Still gets my heart racing when I think about it too much to this day. I was on a camping trip with scouts and me and my friend were put in the same tent as this weird kid. He was acting up all the time, getting into fights and showing off how many knives he had. Anyways, one night we're in our tent playing blackjack, and I guess I said something that pissed him off because he started yelling at me. Well, that let the scout leaders know we were still up, so they told us to get to bed. I don't know how long I was asleep, but I woke up to him choking me. I thrashed about and tried to get him off me, but I couldn't focus and was panicking. I remember the tent seemed to be getting darker and how heavy my eyelids were getting. My chest and head were hurting and aching trying to get me to breathe, but I just felt so tired. I was starting to fade away, thinking my last thing I would hear was his laughter when, wham! My friend had woken up because of me struggling and him laughing and got up and started clobbering the dude. I was part coughing and part breathing once he got off me. My friend screamed for help and that got the adults' attention. He was yelled at for what he did and they shuffled around people so that he would be sleeping in a tent alone right near the adults' tents. I got into a tent with my older brother and I must have woke up 3 times that night, kicking and screaming from nightmares of him killing me. When we all got back from the camp, his parents were told what happened and that he was banned from scouts. They also told my mom, and it must have taken the active will of God for her not to go and kick him. He got banned from a bunch of other activities that we both did, so I didn't really ever see him again. I still wake up scared from nightmares of being choked or suffocated. And while I am a pretty sound sleeper, if anyone tries to walk or get close to me while I am asleep, I shoot up awake in panic. I can't even really nap with my dogs cause of it. I don't know if I'll ever be able to sleep soundly around anyone ever again. Hiking a trail in East Tennessee. Hadn't seen a soul since leaving the parking lot that morning. Make camp up on top of a rock bluff 50 yards off the trail as the sun sets. Quick dinner, then probably asleep by 7 o'clock. Around 11 o'clock, I wake up hearing voices which sound like muttered German. I listen for a few minutes and I can hear footsteps and the voices coming toward the tent. I wake up my hiking partner who hears the same thing I'm hearing. The footsteps stop what seems like 10 from the tent and the same 2 mumbling voices. I unzip the tent and look out and there's nothing. Get my flashlight, shine around. Nothing. After a few minutes, I get back in the tent. We both try to sleep, and after a few minutes, the voices start up again and what sounds like someone cutting a tree with an axe. My partner pulls on his boots. We both agree the sound is 10 away to the right of the tent. He unzips the tent slowly. We are still hearing sounds. He jumps outside with his flashlight, heads in that direction. Nothing. We sit outside the tent for over an hour because there's no way we're going to sleep, but we hear nothing. Eventually, we are both about to pass out, so we go back in the tent and fall asleep. Around 3:30, the axe sound starts again. We both just lie there listening. And a few minutes later, we hear the cracking and whooshing sound of a falling tree, heard and felt the thud as it hit the ground. We both jumped up and scrambled out of the tent and there was nothing. No sound at all. No wind whistling through the trees. No bugs. No frogs. Just silence. We packed up everything in minutes, but decided not to leave because climb back down to the trail was difficult in daylight and too risky in the dark. We sit there until the sun comes up without hearing the voices or axe again. We'd calmed down somewhat by that point and started searching the area. We probably went 100 yards in every direction from our camp, and there was no sign anyone had been there, and certainly no large, recently fallen tree.